Old school, new school, need to learn mo. I burn, baby, burn like disco inferno. Yeah, we talking old school, new school. My man Tom Brady, the one and only Brock Purdy. It's going down. It's the Bucks. It's the 49ers. It's preview show with John Chapman and your boy Breezy right after this.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact. Overmotivated is an understatement. Gold-blooded to the core, got your squad hating. Breezy make it look easy. Breezy on everything like 05, 06, 7 Wheezy. This is not a gang. Yeah, we faithful in every way. And even though we on the East Coast, very loyal to the Bay. Heavy red and gold every day. And if you really a Niner fan, I know you can relate. Applying pressure with this content like Smaller Bear. We not accepting no slander about Trey, so beware. I stay in exclusively Niner hats. And I always tell the truth, this exclusively Niner facts. Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know we gold-blooded. We got the Niners on our back. What's going on, John? How you doing, baby?
Man, I'm great. I feel rested from this weekend. Finally, it took a couple days, but how are you? Could you not be excited about what is coming with Brock Purdy versus Tom Brady? I mean, like, that is just, it's poetic, my friend. And you know, we all are like bummed out with Trey, and we're all bummed out with Jimmy. And it seems like the hits just keep on coming. But if there's anything about this 2022 49ers team, they are resilient. And man, it's just time to go to battle. You go to battle with what you got, man. And sorry, all you got's me right now. So let's do it, man. Let's go to battle.
We going to war, guys. Sunday is about to go down. No, the game's not flex. It's at the regular scheduled time. What is it, 4:05 p.m. or 4:25 p.m.? One of those 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time games. But I can tell you right now, it's going to be great. I've been watching the film on Brock. It doesn't look that bad. I just feel like Kyle Shanahan needs to keep it the way it is. Don't try to insert too many nuances in the situation. I think Brock will do just fine. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think, okay, like, it's easy because, you know, again, we're film guys, right? So like, we go through every throw, what are the reads and all that stuff. At some point, the quarterback position is such a unique thing, and it's so hard to, you know, whenever you break down draft content, and I go through all the quarterbacks every year, like, I want to know who this guy is, right? And I think it was crazy how he came across on the silent film as just being a guy that doesn't give a damn, like, confidence galore. His very first touchdown pass of his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Hits Kyle Juszczyk in the flats. Before Juszczyk crosses the goal line, he's got his finger in the air and he turned around and walked away. Like, he legitimately, Steph, like, turning away after the shots in the air, like, mindset for his first ever touchdown pass. Now, it wasn't like a highlight reel throw or whatever, but he threw a rope to Juszczyk in the flats and he knew it. Turned around, freaking celebrating. You're hearing Trent Williams talk about how he's telling everybody in practice, hey, pick it up. Let's go. Telling the vets, telling Brandon Ayuk, hey, you're lined up wrong. He told Debo to get closer to the line of scrimmage on like the second possession he was in. So there he's behind the center and he looks out to his left. Sorry, it's mirrored on my thing. He looks out and he goes, Debo, scoot up. And Debo's like, scoot up. And he's like, yeah. like
Right.
There's the kids got the alpha mentality. And so can the play sustain itself? Because we've seen Baker Mayfield, whatever else, that alpha mentality doesn't work when you suck at football. Love the Rams. I love the fact he could start Baker Mayfield for the Rams tonight after they picked him up 2 days ago. But that's a whole nother conversation. I love Brock, man.
And I think Brock is going to be just fine. And here's the thing, right? So, I think he's gonna be just fine. I think the confident, the poised Brock that we saw is the Brock we're gonna see. Now, we're gonna break this down, John, because I know Tampa Bay's defense is a little bit more tough and rough. They're more like that Saints defense that we saw a couple of weeks ago compared to the defense that we just faced in Miami. They're a little bit more, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're smarter, depending on which players play. I like the Saints linebackers. You can't take that. The way I love our 49er linebacker, I mean the Buccaneers linebackers. I like the Buccaneers linebackers just like I love the 49ers linebackers. I feel like they got a good core of linebackers. They also got a front, and we're not really talking about their front, but Vita Vea is looking to take somebody out of this game. So it's not going to be as easy, but I think Brock is still going to find a way to get the job done. Because he just has that it factor. Like, he has that it factor. Like, it's something in him. And I don't know if it's because it's a different generation. This newer generation, all they did was grow up and watch Steph. He didn't grow up watching Tom Brady. I don't even think he was born.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Not when he was drafted. I think he was like 4 months old or something.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's going to be crazy, man. Callie, shout out. Wait a minute. God, my apologies. Shout out to everybody out there in the chat. Round of applause to everybody out there. Man, we got subscribers here. Jacqueline is always, I don't think anybody can beat Jacqueline, Jackie, Jack, whatever your name is, Knox in the building. She's first in the building. We got to do something special for her because she's always first in the building. All right. Shout out to Jacqueline. Raphael is in the building. Miss Debbie, it's really good to see you. She says, good morning, Wayne and John. Blessings to the faithful who have joined this morning. Please remember, hit the like button, right? So I don't have to promote the channel. Guys, Miss Debbie says hit the like button. Christy,
gotta do what she says. She's too nice. She's too nice.
Miss Debbie, your pens are on the way too. You're gonna get them damn pens. I lost my bank card. I missed the touchdown.
I lost mine too. We both lost.
It's so funny because you lost yours first. And I'm like, don't worry, it'll turn up. And then what happens to Breezy? Bank card gone. Anyway,
take it.
All love. Shout out to Troy. Terra Dome's in the building. Kylie says, Wayne, did you see what Trent Williams said about Brock? Yes. He carries himself like a 15-year veteran. This kid has poise, and the team is the team all in because they have no choice? Or are they all in because they're sold on Brock Purdy? That's the question I'm asking.
Okay, so I'll say this. The defense drives the 49ers, okay? So, like, I get everybody wants to talk about the offense and Debo and all those things, and those are great. It's Nick Bosa. It's, Fred Warner. It's those Dre Greenlaw, Eric Armstead. It's those guys, Charvarius Ward. They drive the team. And what has the defense come out and repeatedly said about Brock Purdy, who goes against them every single week in practice?
Fred
right?
Because
yeah, what happens is a lot of people don't understand this. Here's the way it works. You do individual drills for a while. So like just the defensive ends are by themselves. Just the linebackers are by themselves. You're doing individual drills. Then you come in for inside drills, which is basically your defensive line and linebackers with sometimes your nickel, sometimes not. And then you do pass scale on the other side. So then you come together team. And the whole time, your ones, so if we're talking about a defensive practice, you're going up against the scout team. You're not going against, it's not Nick Bosa versus Trent Williams. Not
Right.
during team, it's not. Okay. During training camp, it is, but not during team. You're going up against all the backups, practice squad players, non-starters. If you're a non-starter, you go over there. And so they have been going against Brock Purdy nonstop this entire year. This entire year. And so they know him the best, and they have all come out and said, yeah, he's been going against the best all. And so, okay, here's what I will say. Yeah, the Bucs have a top 8 defense. I'd put them top 8, right? But he's been practicing against the best defense. So is the Bucs defense better than the Dolphins? Yeah, nobody's going to argue that. But it's not as good as the Niners. It's not the best he's gone against, is what I'm trying to say. So The defense believes, and I think that's where it carries it, because whatever Fred says, whatever Nick says,
Yeah.
it carries more weight than almost anybody.
I agree. You talk about two of the best players in the NFL, period. And you see that it makes any quarterback better. It made Jimmy better. It may have made Trey better. We didn't get a chance to see Trey develop this year, but we don't know. But I'm sure that it will. This defense is different, and they're super resilient. And so I think Brock Purdy being able to go up against them, especially when they do the scout team, he's going against the first string defense. That says a lot. He's learning what not to do. He's learning, you know what I'm saying, what to do. And so that's what's making him like super sharp out there, because he's not going to face another defense, like you said, like the 49ers. Now, there's going to be teams that's going to try to emulate it and try to kind of do some of the things that the 49ers do. That's what they practice as well. But Brock, I just think Brock has this different type of factor in him. And I don't want to say he has the it factor, but I think he has the it factor, even being a 7th round pick, possibly going to go undrafted in that draft. And that's super important, right? That's super important. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and nobody's talking about that. He didn't want to be Mr. Irrelevant. Like, hey, he's laughing about it. Yeah, it's cool, whatever. That's not a good title, right?
He embraced it. I don't know if you watched the special they do.
But John, mentally.
Yeah. It comes across. I mean, let's just stick with narratives, right? Because sometimes they're important. The fact that his first career start is against Tom effing Brady.
Oh gosh.
That is what amplifies the narrative, because everybody wants to fall over Tom Brady, who was picked number 199 in the 2000 draft. And that's crazy. Maybe one of the best ever. He's the best ever. I mean, he's just won too many Super Bowls. You got to give it to him, whatever. I hate him, but whatever. But for him to this might be the first time in Tom Brady's career to look across and see the opposing quarterback and be like, that guy was drafted almost 100 picks after me. That's never happened. Maybe that's against Tony Romo or an undrafted free agent, whatever. But it's just weird. It's weird. Here's what's crazy. Brock Purdy was born in 1999, which makes me hate my life.
Yeah, I was in college.
Yeah, there you go, man. It's just different. I was still in high school, baby. 2001, graduated 2001. Wow. Jerome says Dirty Purdy going to get 300 yards against Brady. Whew, that would be tough. But it says a lot about.
It's hard to say. I don't think any quarterback can get 300 yards unless it's a guy like Trey Lance, who will be able to connect down the field. I feel like we're asking. If he can look, if Brandon Ayuk can get 5 20-yard catches, now we talking. You know what I'm saying? 5 20+ yard catches. Debo gets a couple of big ones, a couple of screens, then yeah, it can happen.
The 49ers threw for over 300 yards one time this year. Right. And that was against the Kansas City Chiefs whenever we got blown out.
We were slinging.
And you started throwing the ball. So that was it. You got close in the Falcons game. So if the 49ers are throwing for 300 yards, it's not usually a good thing. That's not the recipe to win.
2 losses.
Both those are losses. The 2 highest passing yardage games were both losses. But I wanted to
lot though, right? 300.
Say that
he's saying, but 300's not
not today's NFL. It's not, but for the 49ers, it is. It's one of the most run heavy teams. It is.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, it's not a lot. It's possible. But here's what I pulled up, and I don't know. This might piss some people off. I wanted to go back through, not to make fun of the 49ers. That's not what this is. But Tom Brady was drafted 199 in the year 2000 draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go back through the 49ers draft that year because we got a lot of players. And I think it puts into perspective how far we have come. Is it okay if we do that? Can I just rattle off real quick all the players the Niners drafted that year?
Because I want to see what we're going to do when you do this. We're going to pick who we think is the best player from that draft. Who had the best outcome?
Okay, we had 2 first-round picks that year, and this isn't we should have taken Tom Brady in the first round. That's not an argument anybody's going to have because nobody knew that. Okay, here we go. 2 first-round picks: Ahmad Plummer and Julian Peterson. Then we had 2 second-round picks: Jason Webster, John Engelberger. Then we had 2 third picks. Jeff Ulbrich, who's coaching
I
now,
remember Jeff Ulbrich.
and probably the most famous, Giovanni Carmazzi out of Hofstra, who never attempted a pass. John Keith, John Millen, Paul Smith, Brian Jennings, and then Tim Rattay. We took not one, but 2 quarterbacks that year. 2 of them.
Sounds like a 49er thing.
Consistent.
I think the best pick was the first round pick and Julian Peterson.
Yeah. I think the only 2 players that made a Pro Bowl, Brian Jennings, the tight end in the 7th round, had 2 Pro Bowls. And then
Really?
Julian Peterson, he had 5. 1 all-pro season too. So
Really?
yeah.
Brian Jennings, I don't even remember who Brian Jennings is. How many?
Yeah, he got some work. He was a blocking tight end, special teamer. Yeah, he was all right.
I wonder what it would have been like if we would have drafted pick 199 Tom Brady. Like, do you think, and let's just ask this question, because look, where's my man GSU for life? This is why I love this guy. He just doesn't know that I love him, but I'm gonna tell him right now.
He's always coming. Man. He's always coming.
Yeah, he did. I don't know, but he asked something about like how Brady wasn't the man in Michigan, and he wasn't. He was behind my man Drew.
No. Yep.
Yeah. So like, I just feel like this is why I like Brock Purdy, guys. This is why I'm liking Brock, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not saying Brock Purdy has Tom Brady tendencies. He's not even built the same way. They're different quarterbacks. But he got drafted in the 7th round. He wasn't going to get drafted. Let's just call it like it is. No one was going to pick up this kid. He was probably going to go undrafted and then come into the league and, hopefully get to a team and wait for his opportunity, right? Tom Brady was the same way. Even though he got picked 199, he wasn't going to ever see the field. Tom Brady wasn't going to see the field. If it wasn't for Drew, oh my gosh, what's his name? Drew Bledsoe getting injured. Tom Brady would have never saw the field of day. Here's the one thing I love about Tom Brady, and I know people don't like him, and I understand it. It's fine. The thing I love about him is his drive and his ability to say, F the world, don't ask me for anything. I'm going to go out here and take it. He got an opportunity, and he never looked back. I'm saying that Brock has an opportunity, and I'm not saying he's the end all be all, but if he goes out here and beats the GOAT, and then he goes out here and continues to build really great film for himself, we got a controversy. We gotta have another conversation. We got some content.
I feel like we get too much. You know what I mean? Like, right. Good gosh, covering this team is hilarious. It's in 2019, we were like the what was it, the heartbreak kids, because all the games like came down to the wire, whether we won or lost. Every single game was it's coming down to the wire. This year, no games come down to the wire. Every single game's been a blowout one way or the other. Right. We haven't had a one possession game. The Chargers was 6 points. That's it. You got to go back to Denver. We've had 2 one-possession games this year, the 49ers, one side or the other. Like, every game is whatever, but it's all the stuff off the field. It's just been crazy. I don't think this is the way Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch wanted it.
Definitely wasn't planned.
But
they have no choice. And this is what's going to make Kyle Shanahan just go up another notch on his coaching belt, right? Because now he's down. Now, remember, Kyle Shanahan has a pretty bad track record with quarterbacks. I just don't think he's really good with quarterbacks. I didn't think the quarterbacks that he drafted were good. I know he was able to get Nick Mullins to win one, but he couldn't get Nick Mullins to win more than one back-to-back, right, consecutively. So, like, I don't know. So someone asked the question yesterday, who has more pressure? And I said Kyle Shanahan, but I'm going to ask you the question. Who has more pressure this week? Is it Kyle Shanahan or is it on Brock Purdy?
Man, I really do feel Kyle's best game of the entire year was last week. I thought that was Kyle's best called game. And I thought, is it Brock making Kyle look good? Is it Kyle making Brock look good? Is it both? And I think it is. But I don't know, man. I don't think there's pressure to win with a third string quarterback. Is there pressure on McVay right now? No, there's not. Why? Because they suck. Like,
But
the 49ers are in first place. I don't think there's a lot of pressure
see,
on Kyle. I don't think there is.
okay, and then I get what you're saying. I like that. I disagree though because Kyle has to keep this moving, right? He has to keep the trend going upwards, and I feel like the pressure is on him. Even like it's like self-applied pressure though. Like it's not like pressure from the media or this whatever. Kyle wants to win, and Kyle couldn't win with backups. And so
Right.
the question is, if he gets this win with the backup, then it's like, oh snap, Kyle drafted the right quarterback, right? He drafted a late round guy, and he was able to get this kid and put him into a spot to where he's going to be able to lead his team to victory. So I feel like the pressure is on him because we still got to win the division. The division isn't sold, even though we're up a half game and a half. We lose this week and Seattle wins. Now it's a half a game. And guess who we got to play? And then you mean to tell me next Thursday the pressure ain't on Kyle? How about the pressure starts now? He finds a way to win. And then then you can kind of not relax, but you know what I'm saying?
Let's look at this through a Vegas kind of perspective, right? Because that kind of tells you what should happen. Okay. The money is the most accurate out there. Having said that, if you look at teams with backup quarterbacks, the Rams, for example, they're playing tonight. They're a touchdown underdog to the Raiders. Okay. You look at the Ravens, they are underdogs to the Steelers, who are terrible.
Wow.
Teams that play backup quarterbacks are not expected to win.
Gotcha.
Then you look at the 49ers. They're favored by 3.5.
3.5 points. I got you.
Tom Brady in the first place Bucks. I know they're 6-6, whatever else. But like the team that has been built by the 49ers has never been quarterback focused, ever. Never has. Not from the start, it wasn't. And again, you come in with no quarterback, and this was probably a mistake, and you spend your first pick on a defensive lineman. You spend your next first-round pick on a linebacker. It's a defensive-driven roster. Almost every single first-round pick has been a defensive lineman, except for Mike McGlinchey and Trey Lance. But they invested there. So you have insulated the roster in a way in which it's not quarterback driven. Now, whenever you spend all that on Trey, you were hoping you could kind of shift and turn that focus. Hasn't come to realization yet. We'll have to see if it does. That's another conversation. But I don't know, man. It's again, we just talked about how this team's thrown for 300 yards one time and lost.
Yeah, but you got to look at the context in that game too, because it was close. We were down by 5 or 6 or something, and then
to start the third, and
then it just hit the fan. Robert Marquez says, Breezy, could you please talk about the real problem with the Niners, the O-line? I feel like they're getting a pass on social media and should be held accountable for injuring 2 quarterbacks this year. John, I'm gonna let you take this because I'm shutting up. Go ahead, you got it.
Okay, let's deal with both those injuries. You have to look at those injuries in the context in which they happen. Trey Lance got hurt on a quarterback power, getting hit by a linebacker with a defensive tackle draped around his legs after he passed the line of scrimmage. Cannot put that on the offensive line. That play call, maybe protection, like Trey protected himself, maybe whatever else. It was just a freak injury. And go watch an Eagles game. They run that exact same play 5 to 6 times every single game. Watch a Bills game. They do the exact same play. Like, that was a freak injury. Okay. Now, if you want to talk about Trey Lance and the other injuries, that's another conversation. Look at the Jimmy play. I'm sorry. I don't really put that on the O-line. I put that way more on Jimmy. Because
I explained that to them yesterday, John. Like, they watched the show. They saw the show. They saw the clip. I'm not pulling it back up, but you clearly saw it was on Jimmy. Please continue.
Okay, they slide to the right. They brought 6. They had 5 blocking. 6 defensive linemen, 5 blockers. Guess what?
Numbers!
One's coming free. Jimmy has to recognize that. He did. It was a trick play where they fire zone drop 2. They bracketed both hot routes because you had Debo and Christian McCaffrey doing the Texas rat option, which that's the hot route. That's the hot route. They had an inside breaker and an outside breaker on both. Jimmy has to throw the ball away. Jimmy never does throw the ball away. Now, if you want to talk about how Mike McGlinchey's guy came off, and need Jimmy in the foot, and you want to talk about protection that way, yeah, was it a good rep by Mike McGlinchey? It wasn't. I'm not a Mike McGlinchey defender by any stretch, but I'm sorry, that's on Jimmy. And Kyle even said in the press conference yesterday, oh, well, both of his hot routes, they cut it off, they jumped it. He should have ate the sack, and he tried fighting for more yards because if you get past the 35, Robbie can make it. And so Jimmy was fighting for it, and it's the NFL. The offensive line went through 3 games in a row without allowing a sack. Have they had their misses? Sure. Is Mike McGlinchey the answer long term? I don't think so. I don't put either one of those injuries on the O-line. The film doesn't support that.
Not the injuries, but I do feel like we can upgrade in the offensive line, which is something that I think they plan to do. And I think they're developing guys as well. We just got to be patient. Right. For me, if I had to pick one offensive position to upgrade, it would be the center position. What would be
same?
Okay.
Same. I've been screaming that all year.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to make sure people understand, it's really one position. It's as bad as Mike McGlinchey looks. I even think he looks better with a better center. Yeah. He didn't look. If we had Alex Mack here, Mike McGlinchey wouldn't look as bad. I just don't.
Now, to be fair on Jake Brindle, though, it's not pass protection that's his issue.
No, it's
He's
the
fine.
run. It's the run.
You want to know why the run game is struggling so much? It's Jake Brindle. He cannot maintain a block for more than a second and a half. He cannot. He gets there every time. He just gets thrown to the side.
Yeah.
He cannot anchor and lock on. So pass protection wise, Jake Brindle's fine.
Yeah, but we're not trying to pass the ball too much, right?
Nope.
We're trying to set this run game so we can set up for easier pass attempts. And
so that's why there's more 3rd and 7s instead of 3rd and 4s. Is Jake Brindle.
Yes. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. But his follow-up question was, and if Brock goes down, we in trouble. Nobody's going to pick up Kyle's system in 3 weeks. Purdy is all we got, like it or not. Listen, I don't understand the Josh Johnson signing. So maybe
I love Josh Johnson. I love him.
I love him. I don't know him. I don't really care. I just don't understand it. Dude, what has he done successfully enough to back up Brock Purdy? That's my question.
Well, I mean, you got to understand this is the fourth quarterback now, right? People said if Trey goes down, we're in trouble. Oh, well, then we got lucky. If Jimmy goes down, we're in trouble. Oh, well, here we are now. If Brock goes down, we're in trouble. Injuries suck. And the 49ers are kind of notorious for stacking injuries at the same positions always, which pisses me off. But Josh Johnson was with Cleveland and Kyle Shanahan back in 2012. He was with Kyle Shanahan in Washington in 2018. The reason why he was brought in, he was with the Jets this year. Mm-hmm. So he knows the system, right? So to your question, Robert, 2 parts. Yeah, if Brock goes down, we're in trouble. We're already in trouble. But Josh Johnson knows Kyle's system better than Trey Lance, better than Brock Purdy, probably not as well as Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been there for 6 years now. But as far as experience level goes and most time in Kyle's system, Josh Johnson's ahead of Trey Lance. He's been with him longer than he has. So you have a quarterback that knows the system. And I will say this, Josh Johnson's mobile. He's a dual threat quarterback. So he's somebody that can provide some different things that way. You know what I mean? No, I don't want him starting, but yeah, how many teams can you say, okay, you lost your first, second, third string quarterback, but you're still in first place in the playoff hunt? I don't think a lot of teams can say that.
No, listen, if Josh Johnson was the third string guy option, I'm cool with it. But they brought him in to be the backup. He's the backup.
What else are you going to do? There's nothing else out there.
Other guys you can look at.
Who?
Get the. You got a computer right in front of you. Pull that list up. There were some available quarterbacks. I would have took RG. I'd rather have RG3, who ain't played in 35 years.
Okay, if we know anything, about Kyle Shanahan,
I know it's not gonna happen. I got you.
He is not going to bring somebody in that has talked trash on him and all that stuff and whatever else. That ain't happening. And RG3, he's a talker.
Big
And he
dummy.
burnt that damn bridge. He
And
burned that bridge. He got him and his dad fired. Are you kidding me?
He
There
did?
ain't no way in hell they're
And the
bringing him
words
back.
of the late,
Nope.
great Red Fox, you big dummy.
Yeah. No, he did this himself. He did this himself. Yeah. No, that ain't happening, man.
But I'm
He
saying,
burnt that bridge.
people saying no to RG3, but he's better than Josh Johnson. Like, I don't get it. And you can't say that a guy that had more success is Josh Johnson the ultimate journeyman? Yes, but he's not a successful quarterback in the NFL. So then you look at guys that had success. I guess that's the way I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying RG3 could play football right now. He ain't played in a long time. And
good.
you go out and get a guy that's at least currently playing. But if there was another guy currently playing right now that was available.
Okay, let's go through this list because I don't like any of these guys. Okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick would be the one that, like, okay, if he's open to it, whatever else. But I have heard through a couple sources, he has told his agent, do not answer phone calls. I'm not at all interested. He is very, very happy. So that ain't happening. Cam Newton, hell no. Tim Boyle, nope. Mike Glennon, get out of here. AJ McCarron, no way. Josh Dobbs, I'm okay. Jacob Eason, come on, man.
Isn't
Driscoll? What?
Don't we still have Jacob Eason?
He's on our practice squad currently, but again, no. Like they could have elevated him. He knows our system. Yeah. If somebody got hurt, Josh Johnson or Brock Purdy, Jacob Eason would probably be elevated, but I don't like that. Jeff Driscoll, that one maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't think this list is completely updated all the way. But yeah, I mean, there's just not much out there, man. Like,
I mean, I think the familiarity of him knowing the system is why if he does know the system, is why he's here.
Yes.
So, and then I think, and like you said, he has the ability to kind of like get outside the pocket, whatever. But again, he's just not a successful guy. You know what I mean? So but here's the thing. They're not looking to play him either.
No, my favorite thing about Josh Johnson, and I'm not trying to be mean, this is his 84th official NFL transaction.
Wow.
84 times.
Wow.
The dude, I'm curious, anybody want to guess how much money he has made? I don't like putting other people's business out there, but this just fascinates me. He's been in the league for a very, very long time. He's 36 years old. His career earnings with 84 NFL transactions.
That's crazy.
He's made $8.5 million.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot, but he's appeared in how many games? He's been in 37 games in his career. He started 9. 1-8 as a starter. Like, I'm not saying he's great. That's not what I'm doing at all. I hope nobody takes me as saying like, oh, this guy, we're going to be fine with him. That's not what it is at all. He knows the system. He's a great locker room guy. He knows his role, and that's why you didn't put in a claim for Baker. You don't bring that crap in there. Christian McCaffrey was with Baker a month ago. You think Christian McCaffrey was knocking on the door saying, hey, coach, can you bring Baker in? Hell no. If he was, we would put a claim in for him.
All right, man. We shall see what happens. I'm all in on Brock, though. So right now,
yes.
Brock, listen to me, Brock. I know you're watching the show because you guys watch the show. Brock, I just need you to do whatever you got to do to find a way to stay healthy and get us through the end of the season, rest up, you know what I'm saying, and then go right into the playoffs and do what Brock does. So I'm good with it. Like I'm cool with Brock. I'm just more concerned because it's being a 49er, it comes with some stipulations.
It does.
I ain't gonna talk about them stipulations, but it just comes with some stipulations. And so like we know, like I know, like things happen to especially that position. Things just been happening. This has been a Twilight Zone year. But listen, Brock, go out there and do your thing, man. Brock, hold it down. Josh, if your number is called, we gonna have to rock with Josh. That's what we do. Or Jacob Eason. Why not? Where's the guy? Where's Rosen at? Go get Rosen back. At least he knows
he might be somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and start getting into this game. We got this matchup this week. We got old man versus young man. And he's old. It is what it is. Here's interesting though John, do you have Tom Brady stats for this year? Because I think he's playing particularly very well football.
The craziest stat for me with Tom Brady, he has attempted the most passes out of any quarterback in the NFL, and he's older than both of us. Like he leads the NFL in pass attempts.
Okay, so damn.
He ain't going down.
He has a 66.2 completion percentage. He has over 3,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. Here's the thing. You ready for this, John? 3 interceptions.
Yeah. Here's his this is the Bucs' entire philosophy. They suck. They're the worst rushing team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Dead last. So they said, Tom, you're going to throw the ball till your arm falls off. But his arms look strong. Here's what Tom Brady does. He does not throw interceptions. He does not take sacks. Like, he will throw the ball. He'll ground it 20 times, and he gets the benefit of the doubt every time. Like, he is the antithesis to Jimmy Garoppolo in so many ways. In the fact that, man, he lived to play another day, no problem. He has no problem having 3 points on the board going into the fourth quarter. As long as he doesn't make mistakes to help the other side out, he's complementary football defined, right? And so the reason why he's still having success, I know they're only 6-6. They're not as good a team as they were in the past, but no turnovers, no sacks. Like, he's one of the best in the entire NFL at that. And just protects the ball and waits till the fourth quarter. And we saw it against the Saints. Get a little magic, Tom Brady magic going. Shows
he just
up.
Understands the clock, the game, down and distance, and scenarios. What scenario has Tom Brady not seen? But remember on this schedule, I said this was my most fearful game.
Yep.
And you said, you said this was yours too. Like, but because of this defense, right? I'm more concerned about Tom Brady. And people were like, well, he's not doing anything. I just read you his numbers. Are their team winning? Is their team winning? Nah, not really. Why? They can't run the ball. They can't run the ball.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened, but they don't have an offensive line. So playing against this defense, though, the defense should be able to tee off and have some fun, especially with some of the players that may be out, like Tristan Wirfs.
That's probably the biggest thing. Whenever Tristan Wirfs got hurt, it was an ankle issue initially. He tried to come back and practice, then hurt his knee. So now it's a knee and an ankle issue. And we all know who Tristan Wirfs is because we were at the 13th pick in the draft. We traded back one spot with the Bucs. They jumped up to get Wirfs. We jumped back to get Kinlaw. Here we are. Well, odds of either one of them playing this week, not going to happen probably. They're both going to be out. But Tristan Wirfs has been amazing. The best, not like any offensive lineman, the best, how do I say this? Pressure percentage allowed per snap in the NFL. Number one. Without him, it changes. And whenever he went out, Tom Brady said, I don't know if we can run our hurry up, no huddle offense without Tristan Wirfs. Like, that's how good he is. And so it looks like he's going to be out. And, their backup that came in did not play very well. You got Donovan Smith on the left side, who hasn't been great, and Josh Wells, who's an undrafted free agent from James Madison up in your neck of the woods. How far is James Madison from you? Do you know?
How far as what?
James Madison College. It's close to you, right? You're in Connecticut. It's in Delaware.
It's in Delaware, so it's probably like 4.5 hours.
It's close. It's close. But yeah, undrafted free agent. He's going to be playing right tackle. So Donovan Smith's having his worst year of his career. And now you've got Josh Wells on the other side. It's rough, man. Their offensive line has been the main issue. They lost 3 guards. They lost their center. They lost both of their guards. Shaq Mason, they trade for him, who he's always great. Shaq Mason. He's playing right guard, but their offensive line's worse than ours by a considerable margin. I think our defensive line is going to be just fine. I really, really do.
So I have a scenario for you, or a question. Defensive line. Let's talk about Nick Bosa. Being that he's probably going to have a non-matchup, whatever. Especially if Wirfs is out. If Wirfs plays, Nick Bosa still should have the advantage because Wirfs isn't 100%. So let's talk about this.
And he could go to the other side. Nick Bosa gets a pick where he goes from.
Now, and I love it. Let's ask this question. So will Nick Bosa have more sacks or more roughing the passer calls in this game? See? People think my questions are dumb, John. And I know you know why I'm asking you this question. 3 straight games, roughing the passer call. He's playing against the guy that gets all the roughing the passer calls.
I mean, the refs will do anything in their power to keep Tom Brady and the Bucs relevant. They'll do anything. You can go back to the Falcons game, which they should have lost.
It's just Tom Brady.
It's
not
just
the
Tom
Bucs.
Brady.
Yeah.
And it's funny because going through the film last week, there was a low hit on Brock Purdy in the pocket. 100% pass interference, didn't call it. Next drive, same thing happens to Tua, which was a penalty, and they called it. I mean, it matters who you are in this league. And Tom Brady, it's the Michael Jordan, rule. Like, you ain't getting those MJ calls. Tom's getting those MJ calls.
Tom is the MJ of football right now.
That's okay with me. I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. How do I say this? I want to hit the damn quarterback. So I'm telling my guys, don't get the penalty. But if you can hit Tom, hit Tom. If it's close, hit Tom. Like, that's what I'm saying. Because Tom, he's old. You and I are old. I wake up and my neck hurts. Tom's older. Like, I know he don't drink milk or something, whatever it is. But, yeah, there's going to be a lot of penalties. What's up, Perk Dog? In the chat, love it. He says, we about to be a flag central Sunday. There's going to be penalties galore. But you take your hits on Brady. I believe in that. You hit Brady if you can hit Brady. Not dirty, but if it's close, if it's close,
but
you hit.
Look, Brady's a tough son of a gun. So he's been hit before. I don't think, call me crazy, I like the pressure from the outside, but this game, in my opinion, is going to be more with those defensive tackles. So Eric Armstead and oh my gosh, who's going to line up next?
Kevin Givens.
Maybe Kevin Givens, or maybe
T.Y.
McGill get some burn.
McGill will get some snaps.
It's going to be more on them because Tom Brady,
it's his least favorite thing.
Yeah.
He's talked about that repeatedly. Pressure up the middle is what bothers him the most.
Yeah, I was trying to get it out, but John knew exactly. See, John and I can complete my sentences. Like, this is John and I. Like, we're here now. Like, we, color purple. But no, that's my issue. So Eric Armstead, will he see more snaps this game?
Yeah, but I'll say this, man. Armstead got 21 snaps last week. Didn't show up too much in the stat sheet. But the biggest plays of the game all were on Eric Armstead, right? Nick Bosa's second sack. It was Armstead created that. Bosa came untouched on the stunt because Armstead carried 3 linemen with him on the stunt. Jimmy Ward's interception. Armstead hits Tua as he's throwing it for Jimmy Ward's interception, which was hilarious because it was to Jeff Wilson Jr., and he just tripped over thin air for the catch. Jeff Wilson Jr. was responsible for 2 sacks and an interception in that game, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Coach, he was going to be a non-factor, but people don't listen to us.
He did have 1 carry for 3 yards, though, so that's a big deal.
They had 30 yards rushing, bro.
Yeah, Jordan Mason rushed for more than their entire offense on the same amount of carries. I'll take that 5th round pick. Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh. People are like, yo, you traded him? You're going to get a pick. We get a pick back. Oh, snap. The 49ers know exactly what they're doing in the front office. But no,
1 carry, 3 yards.
I asked that question, John, because it's like this, right? So I know the pressure is going to come from the sides. That's not the issue. Tom Brady is quick at getting the ball out. It's one thing he's good at, right? It's one of the best things he's good at. Excuse me. So if he feels the pressure concaving on him, he doesn't really take that sack. It's the one in front of his face because he doesn't have the ability to elude it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of throwaways, man. A lot of throwaways, which is fine.
Drake Jackson might be able to get some tip passes in this game. Like,
he's in the NFL in tip passes. He's got no snaps.
Fifth. So we're talking about the number 1 defense against not a really good offense. We watched the number 1 defense go against the number 1 or 2 offense.
And not number 1 no more.
You're stupid.
Help me understand,
why this defense isn't going to prevail another week with Brock Purdy.
I think if you just look at the Bucs offense, it's pretty bad. They're not really good at anything besides protecting the ball. They've scored over 22 points once this entire year. One time. And so literally that was against the Chiefs and they lost by 10. Every other game, they have not gone above 22 points. And so, the 49ers defense, guess what? They've allowed over 22 points twice. So it's going to be a low scoring game. Back to Vegas. It is the lowest projected over under total score at 37.5 points right now. They're projecting a 20-17 type game. It's going to be low scoring. But I will say this, Brock Purdy and that offense put up 30 plus last week, but this is a better defense they're going against. It's going to be low scored. It's going to be close, and that's the Bucs' way to win this game. Keep it close to the fourth and try to get them to turn their magic on. That's basically their recipe to win. That's all they got. You look at the games they win, that's about it. But whenever you look at teams they play with good defenses, Cowboys lit them up. Saints lit them up week 2. Falcons defense, they play close, whatever. They play against good defenses, they struggle. Even the Saints, who they won miraculously at the last second, Saints dominated that game. If Mark Ingram doesn't walk out a yard early, the game's over. But yeah.
Let's talk about their playmakers on offense, though, because they have some guys, and
correct,
their guys are different. Excuse me, than the speedy guys, right? So they don't have the speedy guys in Miami. They kind of have a mixture of speed and power. So the Chris Godwin and the Mike Evans, the bigger receiver, kind of like the not the running receiver. Let's talk about these guys, man, because our defense is going to face they're going to face another challenge. And how does the defense prevail against two guys like this? Good point, Robert.
My biggest concern with the 49ers has continued to kind of show its ugly head. If you're going to beat the 49ers, you have to throw the ball deep. You got to throw the ball deep. We saw it with Miami. We've seen it with the Chiefs. We've seen it, time and time again. You got to throw the ball deep. If you're going to dink and dunk, you're not going to beat the 49ers. Let's just be real. Now, we've already talked about how the Bucs throw the ball more than any other team in the NFL. If you look at just Tom Brady this year, and this is what's crazy to me, over 10% of his passes travel 20-plus yards in the air. I don't know how he's still doing it. His arm has not gone down. And so if I was to travel back in time in my DeLorean and the 49ers lost and after what's up, man?
I want to be in there. I want to ride in the DeLorean.
Let's roll, man. Let's roll. It's gonna be better than your travel plans usually. I'm sorry, Wayne. I love you, man. I love you.
Continue.
Low blow. He left. Oh, I gotta hide over here. Oh, I love it, man. I love you, Wayne. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. We gotta have fun sometimes. Wayne's travel.
He's the second person that's big time that's taking shot at my travel agency plans.
Who else threw shots? I'm curious.
See, Mike Andrews, everybody in this chat, Kylie.
It's because we love you, man. It's because we love you.
Look, when I put that stuff out there, I be wanting serious prayer and mercy. I want to get wherever I'm going. I don't even need to get home. Just get me to my destination safe.
Oh my gosh. Look, here's the conversation I have every single trip we do. We show up and here's the question I get. Hey, where's Wayne at? And I go, I don't know. He's supposed to be here. I don't know. He's somewhere.
And then John will send me a text. I'm probably on the airplane somewhere. John is like, hey, man, when you get here, I'm just checking in on you.
Yeah, because I get worried about you. I feel bad, but it's like, dude, I don't know where the hell you are. I don't even know where. I don't know what state you were in. I didn't know what part of Mexico you're in. I don't know where the hell you are.
I got one more flight with American Airlines, then they're banned for life. I already booked it. I didn't realize that I shouldn't use them. Right?
Yeah,
one more.
That's rough, man.
Tight ass seats. All right, man. I love it.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I forgot where I was going with it. Oh, I know where I was.
So they got to beat us deep. I think that's
they got to beat the 49ers deep. So if you are going to guarantee or whatever the 49ers want to do their job, it's going to be a whole lot of cover 3 and a lot more quarters this week because you don't have to worry about the run. You don't have to worry about the run. They're the worst running team in the NFL. So I want 2 high safeties nonstop. Talanoa had a bad game. He came out on Richard Sherman's podcast, takes ownership. I love that kid. Hufunga's a playmaker for both teams. And so if you can get a little bit more consistent play and a little bit more consistent on, his responsibilities on the deep ball, We'll see. The one thing he doesn't do is hesitate. But he's got to be, if he's going to be wrong long. Don't let him beat you deep. That's the thing that scares me. But I think he gets it corrected.
Cedric since 1983. That's dope. That means you were born in 19. That's so dope. That's dope. The defense shouldn't play scared. We need this win before we go to Seattle. Our first road game in 4 games. Yeah, I keep saying that this that this win is important, and it's because mainly of that. It keeps you ahead in the standings. It keeps you ahead of Seattle. Because God forbid, like Seattle wins, right? Now they're just closer, and it makes that game a lot more important and tough to win. Like, you're playing a divisional game. This is not a divisional game. It is a conference game. It's not a divisional game. But I don't think this defense ever plays scared. That's why I put this comment up here. Speaking of scared, there's a mean person on defense that I might be scared of, and I don't get scared of people. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Dre Greenlaw.
What the freak? How did you know what I was talking about?
That dude,
something wrong with him, man. He ain't right.
He's different. He's mean as hell, man. He's mean.
What did he say about
Tyreek Hill? So it was one of the best plays I've ever seen from a linebacker in my life, which it's not going to show up. And I know Baldy did a breakdown on it. We talked a lot about it on our Patreon, but Tyreek Hill just gets it's just a shallow drag route. You're just going right behind the line of scrimmage, full speed. Tua throws the ball to him, full speed this way. And you see Dre Greenlaw just turn his jets on, staying stride for stride with Tyreek, 0 yards after the catch, picks him up on the sidelines, and then drops him. Like, no penalty. And he said, I wanted him to know that I could have ended him. Like Ivan Drago type stuff. Like, I'll crush you. Yeah, like, and after that, you could see on the all 22 tape, the sidelines, everybody's like everybody just kind of took a step back. You got some game changers, man. You have some mental warriors that play these type of games. The Fred Warners, Fred Warner, Talanoa, and Dre Greenlaw. Like those 3 guys, Jimmy Ward, they're up here. It's psychological warfare backed up with a physicality that, look, man, you're going to come soft, go ahead. Like, they will kill. Fred Warner's out there trying to kill people. He's diving over people. He's a mentality.
William Wallace from Bravehearts right now. Like, he's just on another level, man.
Oh.
I feel like we got William Wallace and the Gladiator on the same team.
It's a lot, man. What did Kyle Shanahan said? It's like Mike Tyson wearing a 49ers jersey out there watching Dre Greenlaw. And that is exactly correct. He had a hit on the tight end out in the flats. Dre Greenlaw did, where he just ended that dude. I mean, like, he gave him it was almost like a DDT. He's violent, bad intentions all the time.
Look, if Dre Greenlaw would have did what he should have did to Tyreek Hill wouldn't have had that game.
No. But it set the tone. Like, it changed. It affected it. And again, I see B-Max comments right here talking about how people were having arguments between Greenlaw and Azeez all the time. Mm-hmm. And everybody kept making fun of me, talking about how, I was team Greenlaw all the time, but I love Azeez. There's not a wrong choice here. Mm-hmm. But I kept saying, I want the guy that's, what are you best at, right? What are you consistent at? Well, Greenlaw is one of the best tackling linebackers in the NFL. Guess who had the highest coverage grade for the entire Niners defense last week against the Dolphins? It was Dre Greenlaw. Mm-hmm. If you can add the coverage to his already elite tackling and run support, that's where it gets weird. But they had Tyreek 4 times, 4 targets on Dre Greenlaw. He had 7 yards after the catch on all 4 of those. McDaniels did his job. Hey, we're going to isolate Tyreek on their number 2 coverage linebacker, Dre Greenlaw, and Tyreek's going to take advantage. Nope. Didn't happen. Sorry.
So, I knew he was the better coverage linebacker the moment he intercepted that pass in Seattle.
That was a hell of a play, man.
Because the way he dropped back to the left side of on that sideline, and he just picked out it. That's when I said, "Oh, this guy's going to be a problem." And another thing that made me feel like he was just the better guy, and it's not nothing wrong with him just being a better player overall because I love Azeez Al-Shaair, and I think the 49ers going to make him an offer. Had an injury year again, and the 49ers going to come at him, and they're going to hit him with the injury price, and who else going to pay him? So I hate to say it like that, but he's going to want to come back here. He loves this room. He knows what this team is about. Win a championship, sign a 1-year deal, and then go out there and get your money. And so that's for Azeez. But they extended the right player, and it's mainly because of the impact that Greenlaw brings. Listen, he's violent, like super violent. He was so violent, y'all were cursing him out week 1. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, John, because everybody in this chat, y'all better get y'all were cursing him out. We lost this game because he got 2 personal fouls, and then the 49ers, they said, you know what, Greenlaw, we scared of you, so we're just going to extend you right after.
Well, the funny thing is, if you watch both those plays, neither one was a personal foul.
I
Neither
didn't
one
think
of them
so
should be a
either.
personal foul.
I didn't think
Neither
so.
one of them. Yeah, it
But
looked bad on the broadcast feed.
Right. They were protecting the QB.
Big Papa says, yesterday, Aponte, talking about Jason Aponte, anteed up and made a mistake and gave credit on the Brad show. Those two really good dudes right there. So, like, we all have our things, and quarterback brings the worst out of everybody whenever we talk about those. But guess what? We're a Niners fan first and foremost, right? And so whenever somebody wins and takes over, we're all celebrate that. And so the fact that Dre Greenlaw's already outplaying his contract extension that he just signed 2 months ago,
which normally doesn't happen.
No.
Usually players get their money and they kind of like, I'm good. Not the 49ers.
No. And I'll say this, I'll throw this out there. Dre Greenlaw is my favorite player for one, because I played linebacker, coached linebackers whenever I first started my career, but also his story. And you look at Azeez's story too. So like their stories off the field are just as inspiring as who they are on the field. And when you put those things together, that's where it gets awesome. That's where it gets crazy. And so if you haven't heard that story, you can just type in Dre Greenlaw countdown or Azeez Al-Shaair countdown. I did a 1 through 90 series, a full episode on every single player where I dug into who they are off the field, grades, all that stuff. Amazing, amazing human beings. Easy to root for, which is awesome because they're best of both worlds.
Look, the defense is going to be on par. If anybody should be scared, it's Tom Brady. You said you saw he had words about Nick Bosa.
What'd he say? I missed it.
In the chat, they said that that's the person that he's most concerned about is Nick Bosa, because Nick Bosa is playing on a level of like FU NFL level. I don't know if you know what that level is, but that's the level he's playing right now.
It's defensive player of the year, man. It's very difficult to make an argument for anybody else.
All right.
Very difficult.
Here was the question about Nick Bosa. So we did this on the show. Would you rather Nick Bosa this year win Defensive Player of the Year? And I asked this to Travis King, or break the NFL sack record? He can only do one.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
I'm going to say defense. 49ers only had 2 Defensive Players of the Year in the history of the entire franchise.
Yep.
And I'm going to go defense, because my thing about Bosa is this. I don't think what makes him so special is his pass rush. Yeah, he might be the best pass rusher in the NFL, but he's a two-way player. He's better against the run than I think he is against the pass. He's just great. And so he's so well-rounded. I would say Defensive Player of the Year, but there's not a wrong answer there. You said sack record?
I said sack record. It's a split. Listen, man, that sack record is tough to break, and you know what, it doesn't matter which one it is, because if he gets Defensive Player of the Year, he can go for the sack record next year, and then if he'll probably get less, he'll probably become, if he wins Defensive Player of the Year, he'll probably start getting the Michael Jordan calls.
Yeah, there you go.
No more holds, right? And so now he can tee off on that sack record like Michael Strahan did.
And I want him something to go for still, because if he gets the sack record, he's probably going to get Defensive Player of the Year. Right. I saw the chat. Who else got it? It was Deion Sanders in 94 and Dana Stubblefield. Those are the 2 Defensive Player of the Years.
Player of the Years, yeah. And that would be a really good thing. But holding that stack record that's that personal, like.
But with more games and it being more and more of a passing league, I think that's one of the things that's just going to continue to be broken. Kind of like the tight end record, right? Kittle breaks it. Kelsey breaks it, then Kittle breaks it, then Kelsey breaks it. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's going to keep going up, but there's not a wrong choice there. Let's
get this, start wrapping the show up, but let's get down to your key matchup. All right. So you can only pick one.
If I can only pick one, I'm going to be cheap as hell. I don't care. it's quarterback on quarterback, baby. It's out with the old, in with the new, as you said. That's what I want. Nas releasing a record just a couple weeks. Like, come on, baby, let's roll. Like, that's what I want.
On my way to Mexico. I'm lying. Before the plane took off from the New Mexico I was in, like I tried to download it when I had internet and I couldn't get all the songs before it took off to get me to where I was supposed to go, but I listened to it. Really good record. Really good record.
I like Nas a lot. But yeah, I'm going Purdy versus Brady. Why not? Why not? And if you're going to force me to do something else, I'm going to go linebackers against linebackers, because you've got two of the best linebackers in the NFL on their side. Like, if you were to ask me, okay, who are the best linebacking groups in the NFL? Tampa Bay is going to be in the top 3 for me. And the Niners are number 1, but
I just said that at the beginning of the show. That's how I feel about this. Like Tampa Bay's linebackers. Who are your top 3 though? Because Niners, Tampa Bay, maybe 3. Who's 2 or who's 3? Like, curious.
Yeah, I really think the Eagles kind of came out of nowhere with their linebacker play. But if you're going to put Parsons at linebacker with Van Der Esch and all that stuff, I'm cool with the Cowboys being in that conversation as well.
Okay.
And I might be missing somebody. You can feel free to call me out. There's a lot of decent linebacking tandems in the NFL. I do not put the Cardinals up there despite having a bunch of first-round linebackers. They're not even close for me.
No. I don't even know who plays linebacker for the Eagles. That's funny.
No, man, whenever they set up this year, which I thought it was crazy, I was like, oh, that's a major weakness. But what Edwards has come out and done, TJ Edwards, who he was a Wisconsin kid, wasn't drafted. He has just been.
What about Buffalo's linebackers? To me, they got a nice linebacking core.
Yeah, they're not bad. I don't think it's the strength of their team. I think their safeties kind of do everything. I like Trey Edmonds a lot. He was drafted the same year as Fred Warner. He went in the first round, him and his brother.
Yeah.
But, then you look at Matt Milano, who's been really, really good as well. So, yeah, no, you're not wrong there. There's a lot. The creme de la creme, the 49ers. And I don't think most people would disagree with that.
Melissa says, we are such a phenomenal duo together. It gives me chills, like nice. The Brothers of Destruction. Melissa, thank you so much. All right, here we go. My matchup, key matchup. So when we say key matchup, Terra Dome, you going down the right path. Mooney Ward, can he eliminate Mike Evans? Ooh. I'm about this life right here. Mooney Ward against number 1 wide receivers has been doing his thing. It's when they move those wide receivers and shift them over to the slot like they did Tyreek Hill. I tell you what, if Miami didn't shift Tyreek Hill to the slot, he wasn't going to do much against the 49ers. And it's hard to say that, but he started cooking once they moved him to the slot, and then he started abusing Jimmy Ward. Like that's what happened in that game. We were there. I watched it.
Yeah.
I like this. I'm not worried about Mike Evans moving over to the slot. Let's talk about this matchup, bro.
I think it's incredible because you bring in Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward. He's at his best versus bigger wide receivers. That's why he was brought in. DK Metcalf,
yes, sir.
Right? Like DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, like these bigger guys. That's why he was brought in. And so Evans is a beast, but he doesn't run the full route tree. He runs goes. He runs, slot fade comebacks. Like, that's just kind of what he does. And he's a jump ball kind of guy. There's going to be a lot of contested catches. I expect a lot of penalties. But yeah, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of penalties. And the one thing I do like about Evans is he talks trash. And
and he also
I'm all for
passes.
That. A lot of drop passes. Yeah, he's Debo-esque with those.
Kenny, my man, Banks versus Vita Vea.
Vita Vea's played some of the best football of his career. Banks is coming off of back-to-back bad games, which, I mean, he was due. He was so consistent early, but he has struggled back-to-back weeks. That's going to be
nutrition, bro. Like, is it like he's just his body's is he breaking down?
No, I think Banks struggles versus the speed slasher guys, which we saw last week. Vea's not that. Vea is a massive human being. Will be the biggest person you play against all year. I forget like his metrics and whatnot. 6'4", 350, right? So like this is big boy on big boy. And so it's strength on strength. So I don't know. We haven't seen this. I will say Banks did really good against Grady Jarrett. earlier. I thought he neutralized him relatively well. So that's one of the things I want to see, because this is a different type of matchup. This is big on big. Banks needs to have a good game. You got to stop him up front.
The unsung hero of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense may be an older guy, wide receiver by the name of Julio Jones.
Ooh.
He's been playing healthy. He's been healthy lately, excuse me. He's a thorn in the 49ers. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he's had a lot of his best games against us. There's no doubt.
So, are you any concerned about what they might try to do? That might be their slot guy. Now they're putting a big physical guy, which is in Jimmy Ward's favor as well, right? He's more of the physicality type of a person too.
I'm not too concerned about Jones. If I was drawing this up, my number one concern would be Godwin. Number 2 would be Evans. Number 3 would be Jones.
Okay.
And yeah, I would stay in almost nickel predominantly this game. I would not, Aziz wouldn't be getting a lot of snaps for me. I would keep Jimmy Ward out there. And yeah, I would stay almost predominantly in nickel versus this team, because I'm not worried about the run.
So, guys, if you don't understand what nickel coverage is, that means you're taking out a linebacker, which means Aziz removes himself from the game and you insert Jimmy Ward. So
Right.
that's our nickel back. Now, the question is, they can do different coverages out of that different type of formation and whatever package. And so John said that we play a lot of quarters coverage. And now it's funny that you said that, because when Talanoa Hufanga started to explain the quarters coverage, Richard Sherman, there's so many different assignments in that damn coverage, bro.
Because I watched that. Okay, so they're dropping. Usually the break point is 14 yards. Okay, so quarters means you divide the field into 4s. Like, this player's responsible for the outside, this player's middle outside, outside deep, right? So deep 4. But usually when a wide receiver hits 14 or more yards, if they're in your quadrant, you break on that, which he did. And so whenever I watched the film, I was like, man, that's what he should have done. But he said, like, there's variations. It's not as simple as just, okay, we're in cover 4. You can put all kinds of different stuff on it. So he said he was wrong. I'll take his word on it. But man, as far as like traditional quarter coverage goes, he was correct. But if they had a package in where they're like, look, don't take the cheese, which is the phrase he used, where like, hey, 14 yards, maybe you back it up 18 yards. Don't break on anything 18 yards or under, because they throw deep so much. So those are the things we don't get privy to with the tape. You don't know what the assignments are.
Let's recap and end this show. You're going to give me a game prediction. What's one thing you're going to see from the 49ers? Can John predict one thing he's going to see from this game? And then we'll do score prediction, and then we'll say goodbye.
Man, I think it's going to be the World Cup's going on right now. We're going to get our version of the World Cup with field goals galore. I think it's going to be a lot of field goals. And field goals are not a bad thing for the 49ers. You get points on any drive with your third string quarterback against this defense, it's a win. Usually I say, if you get to 22 points, you win. If you get to 17 points, you win this week. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game at all. I think it's going to be something like 16-9. Melissa, she's got an offensive output. I think like 16-9, 17-12, something along those lines. It's just going to be so many kicks, I think. I'm going to bet the over on kicks for both teams.
We got a lot of points, man. A lot of points. Wow.
40-3, he says. Paul Hope says 28-12. Oh, I love it, man. I love it.
By Bosa. I like this. See, I said game day predictions. So some people are giving us game day predictions. Some are giving us score predictions. If I had to give a game prediction on game day, I think Eric Armstead gets 2 sacks on Tom Brady.
Ooh, gosh, rub the stomach, baby. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing my Waffle Home shirt, so that means you got some good eating. Mm-hmm. So there we go. I like it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to give him that. And if you want to know why, it's because I know that their tackles are probably going to struggle against the pass rush from the outside. But Brady, if that rush in the front of him isn't there, like if it's not there, Brady will step up in the pocket. Like that's what he loves to do. He's not an outside guy. You won't see him run to the outside. He will step up and make those guys in front of him run right past them and try to complete a short pass over the thing. Or if it's spread wide open because we play freaking zone, he will take off and run for 3, 4, 5 yards. That's Brady. You watch him. That's how he plays football. That front up there, he's got to be able to shed those blocks. And when Brady steps up in that pocket, just make him fall right into you. And I think Eric Armstead gets 2 sacks.
Yeah, I love it, man. He made such a big difference last week. He looked great. He looked really, really good. Only 21 snaps. I think it was out of 47. So, yeah, you bump that up 25 to 30 snaps this week. Take it slow. They gave him a day off, just precautionary. Armstead being back is gigantic.
Love it. That's a good question, Terradome. Which quarterback has more quarterback sneaks in this game? Is it Tom Brady or is it Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy's 1 for 1, baby. He's batting 100.
Yes, it didn't look that good.
It did not look
there.
good.
It didn't look that
good.
Didn't
get it, John. I was like, no, he didn't get it.
I'll say this. We talk about all the time how great Jimmy Garoppolo is at quarterback sneaks. Yeah, he learned that from Tom Brady. Tom Brady is still, I would argue probably the best quarterback sneak artist of all time. I'm going to put Jimmy Garoppolo top 3 for sure. So I'm going to go Tom Brady on that one.
This is so creamy. People got some really good predictions. John, before we jump up out of here, I want you to let everybody know where they can reach you, find you, support you. And then 2, I said A and 2, let everybody know where they got that fire hat from, because that hat is fire.
We got this one at the Vegas draft. This is Project Hoea, Hoea, I believe. He's a Polynesian artist that does Niners stuff on Instagram. Shane is his name, but Project Hoea, he does great work. So it's all custom work, hand done. He busy man. He got a lot of stuff going on, but good dude. You can find me anywhere. Just type in John Chapman or 49ers Rush. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names in the chat, which I love. But yeah, man, we do this thing all the time. Wayne's on my channel every Tuesday. We do all our road trips and stuff together. So yeah, there we go. 49ers Rush. That's the way to find it.
Guys, it's been real faithful. Listen, it's going to go down. 49ers are going to win this game. I just don't know how yet. We got the poll question we about to jump up on real quick. The question is, how many points will the 49ers defense allow against the Bucs? 11 through 19, 0 to 10, 20 to 29, and plus 30. And I read it out of order. So 62% says 11 to 19 are the points, man.
That's where I would go.
I personally feel like the 49ers are going to give up 13 points. I just feel like that's that number. I think Brady gets a touchdown. And then I think it's just field goals for them once the 49ers adjust to what Brady does. I wouldn't be surprised, John, if the 49ers get punched in the mouth again, like really quickly, but I think that their defense will be able to kind of like reform the mouth and then come back out there and do some things. If the defense get turnovers, that's good, but Brady doesn't turn the ball over. But that doesn't mean it won't happen in this game. It's a different defense, right?
There's fumbles, which Fred Warner's about as good as anybody at punching the ball out. There was one play this week where he went to punch the ball out of Tyreek, and Tyreek ducked. It just hit him straight in the crown of the head, man. I was like, oh, no, but he popped up. No worries. But, yeah.
Juan says, who replaces Ridgeway? I got T.Y. T.Y. is the guy, I think.
Run stopper on early rundowns, which probably this week you're not going to see a lot of. So I think the answer is this week, who replaces Ridgeway? Nobody. I think it's going to be Eric Armstead, Kevin Givens. Those are your starters. And then you bring in Kerry Hyder, Charles Omenihu, maybe T.Y., not too much of him. But I think during some games later on, that will be T.Y. McGill in those run-heavy downs. But you're not going to see a lot of that this week.
So you don't think they're going to at least try to attempt? So first of all, look, when they are able to run the ball, that shit is effective. Like Leonard Fournette, they just haven't been able to do it this year. What if this is the game? If Leonard Fournette is getting yards, if he plays, I don't know. But if he is getting those yards, you gotta put the big guy in there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they got 76 yards rushing last week. They've broken 100 yards rushing twice this year.
Totality, like total?
That's it.
Wow.
Like it's just there's a big difference. And again, to put that into perspective with the 49ers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times this year, the Niners have gone for over 100 yards.
I got you.
So, and 5 out of the last 6 weeks, we've gone for over 100 yards rushing. So I don't think, I'm telling you right now, I would stay in nickel. My game plan would be, I'm saying my 4-2-5 set, 4 linemen, 2 linebackers, 5, that's where the nickel thing comes from, 5 nickel defensive backs. I'm staying there until they force me to get out of it.
I got you. I got you, bro. Listen, it's going to be a great game. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Faithful, we love you. Stay up, stay faithful. Always keep it nitty gritty. I like to say keep it a buck. Stay nitty gritty. Enjoy your Thursday. There's a bunch of shows that's going to be out today. John Chapman, myself, we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to be doing. Make sure you support each and every one of the 49ers content creators out there when you can. We love you. Peace out.